My topic. I want you to pick a movie. Everybody in the movie is a Muppet except for one character. You decide who that character is. What's your movie? Y'all can go first.
All right, ladies first.
Okay. So I chose Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
And then I said the human I would possibly keep would probably be I got stuck for a little bit because I kind of went back and forth about it. First I was like Elizabeth Keira Knightley's Elizabeth Swann.
That's what I was thinking when you said it.
or Orlando Bloom's Will Turner. I ultimately ended up going with Elizabeth Swann.
Mhm.
And I started cracking up because part of it, while I was going back and forth, when I was thinking about it, I was like, why does this remind me of something? And then I was like, Muppet Treasure Island.
Oh.
I was just like, why have I? Because then even like I even contemplated Barbosa, leaving him, and I was just like, nah, I kind of want to see him as a Muppet. And then I was just like, all these different changes remind me of a movie I've already seen and loved. So, but I still stuck with it. So that's my choice because I fucking love Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. And changing, like I said, all the characters except for one in the Muppets completely changes the dynamic of most films. Like even with this one, with Pirates of the Caribbean, I think it's the third one. That whole sad thing at the beginning where they're getting ready to hang all the pirates and all that kind of stuff at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And they start to sing and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like this whole just epic thing, like it's time kind of thing.
You could already see the Muppet version of it.
Doing that with Muppets completely changes the dynamic of that scene. Completely.
Like, so that was great.
I enjoy that. That's a good one.
It was that gave me nostalgia at the same time. So thank you for that.
I like that idea.
I'm probably gonna go watch that later at some point today.
I follow a guy on TikTok he's a musician, and it's like every musician will do this where they'll write a really great song and then realize they're rewriting like a Beatles tune or like Coldplay or something like that. And that was like you halfway through this list. You're like, God, this would be amazing. How come somebody hasn't? Oh, this is Muppet Treasure Island.
This has been done.
Happens when I've been writing stuff a lot of times too. I'm like, oh, this is a great. Oh, fuck, this is the Matrix. It's just like when I realize what I'm doing, I'm like, oh, damn
you're putting a great campaign together, and you're like, this is the story of Lord of the Rings. Fuck
yeah.
For me, I went a totally different direction with mine, and I'm a positive this hasn't been made into a Muppets movie. I did Quentin Tarantino's first film. I'm pretty sure Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, that's my shit. Listen,
okay,
my list of favorite movies, number 1 and number 2. I go back and forth between Reservoir Dogs and Harlem Nights. Like those are my 2 favorite movies. Number 3 is The Matrix, but those 2 I go back and forth on all the time. I fucking love Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction are both on my Mount Rushmore favorite movies, and they're both Tarantino flicks. So the character I wanted to keep was Mr. Pink because he's Steve Buscemi is for Mara, so you know who I'm talking about here. Is the character. That's who he plays. And he plays a Steve Buscemi character. But what they're doing is they're coming out of a diamond heist. But not just a diamond heist gone wrong where the police show
very
up.
Wrong.
So like one of the guys is shot in the stomach. And what you do is you see a replay of how each person essentially got back to the warehouse for the rendezvous. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want
Tarantino thing with the story isn't told in order. You kind of all that kind of stuff, seeing different things from different people's perspectives at different times and all that. Yeah.
So essentially I was like, I would just imagine like Steve Buscemi interacting the diner scene, for instance, when he's sitting there, like Steve Buscemi being the only human, and then all the Muppets discussing like tipping etiquette and like, you know,
and he's
like
complaining about why he has to be Mr. Pink to a bunch of Muppets.
Yeah. Like I'd have everybody wanting to be Mr. Black or Mr. White. And like, so I assign everybody a name. And that whole time I'm like, okay. And then I was like, Mr. Nice Guy played like, putting Big Bird in that position and like all of the stuff you would see wrapped around it. I was like, but Steve Buscemi is made for a role in a Muppets movie.
To be surrounded by Muppets, yeah. I like that pick a lot. I'm very happy with that one, Will. Thank you for that. So when I first thought about this, and when I first actually like saw the meme that led to this, the first thing that popped into my head was Avengers Infinity War and keep Thanos. Because the idea of just Thanos just whooping the shit out of a bunch of Muppets is funny as hell to me.
But almost getting beat by them a few times is
Yeah.
what would make it that much more entertaining.
Exactly.
Because you're like, fuck, it's Squirrel Girl all over again.
But then in the end, like I said, in Infinity War, spoiler alert, he wins at the end of Infinity War. So in the end, he still wins. He beats the Muppets. So it's just like, because in the end, they're still fucking Muppets, all right? But the other thing that came to mind, and that might be because I just recently watched all 4 of the movies, was John Wick. And keeping John Wick, of course. And through the whole movie is just John Wick around shooting and killing a bunch of Muppets. And it's just like, when have I seen something like that before again with Mara? I'm like, oh, Happy Time Murders. And it's just like, yeah, we've kind of seen that. But
even the dog has to be a Muppet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even
exactly.
John Wick's dog has to be a Muppet.
It's one of those things, instead of blood flying everywhere, stuffing flying everywhere and all that kind of stuff. You know, it is just like the idea is
genius.
I fucking love it.